WGS-TV. As always, I am your friendly neighborhood Russell Gamer, Double B Billy Boudreaux, along with the returning Mark the Smart Draw. Mark, how you feeling this week? We heard you weren't feeling good last week.
A little bit better. Way better than I did before.
Yeah,
I'm happy to be here,
And I didn't get a chance to ask you last week, but how was your Thanksgiving?
Pretty good. I ate good. Went to my grandmother's in Lewisburg and got some grub on and hung out with my cousins. I don't see that much.
Yep, and the man appearing in frame is Nick Nayday. In his heyday, makes people say Mayday Fuquay. Yeah. Nick, how you doing this week?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Uh-huh.
That is a definitive yes right there that he's doing good.
Yep.
Well,
yes.
gentlemen, guys and gals, we do definitely have a lot to talk about. If you would like to get in our conversation, you know the way to do it. You got to call 366-8951. That's area code 337-366-8951. Or you can go to youtube.com/RussellGamer, get in our chat room, and we will read your comments out loud here on the show. And gentlemen, we got a lot to discuss, especially with Roadblock end of the line this weekend. And I want to say this, I may sound like a broken record, and you may have heard it from a lot of other people, Nick, but WWE is really starting to suffer now because of the fact that they're putting on pay-per-views and they're just throwing matches together and they're not letting angles develop and build for a proper show.
Well, at least on Raw.
Plug this in, my laptop's dying. Yeah, we're having a little bit of a battery issue, ladies and gentlemen. But Nick, go on. What you're saying?
Well, I'd say that's been more an issue with Raw pay-per-views. SmackDown has been doing a lot better job of storytelling and building their feuds on even a short-term and long-term basis.
Yeah, but look what they had to do this week on Monday Night Raw. It's the fact that going into Monday Night Raw this past Monday, there was only 3 confirmed matches for Roadblock this Sunday.
That's right, and I mean, I was kind of jotting down Roadblock matches, which a lot of them were matches that I predicted they would end up booking the last minute, such as the Rusev versus Big Cass. Everybody saw that coming.
Yeah.
The Sami Zayn, Braun Strowman, they were making it sound like it wasn't going to happen, but it's going to happen. They announced the Cruiserweight, and you knew Jericho and Rollins were going to have a match. You knew Sasha Banks and Charlotte and Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. And that's really all the card they have right now, other than the New Day and Cesaro and Sheamus, which was added.
Yeah. By the way, it's also come to our understanding that somebody from Florida called in on another great show, Insight into Mental Health, about an hour ago looking for us. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, Insight into Mental Health is a great show in itself. But that was on before us. Now we're on. So if the gentleman from Florida wants to call again and get in on the show, the phone lines are open at 337-366-8951. And again, we're also live on youtube.com/RussellGamer. And of course, we have some accoutrement right here for your viewing pleasure.
We got bald Jericho. It's on the list.
A bald Jericho. What in the world happened to him?
The hair.
Through a shaved head match.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember Jericho throughout his career has been involved in a lot of mask versus hair matches. And I think one of the infamous ones that I can think of was back in WCW when he unmasked Juventud Guerrero.
Yeah.
So that was a long time ago. Man, I'm showing my age, aren't I?
It doesn't matter. Juventud Guerrero is a good-looking guy. That's what Eddie Guerrero said, huh?
But who has unmasked the Batman?
Nobody.
Who is Batman?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, before we get into Roadblock, there's been a lot of discussion about this new championship that WWE apparently has been debuting. The United Kingdom Championship, I believe it's called. What are your thoughts about that?
I think they should do European Championship because they have a lot of superstars are from, European continent. Mm-hmm. I think it would be better bringing back the European Championship.
Yeah, why not? I mean, it represents more people.
Yeah, and you have more people. You can use it as it's going to be on Raw, right? Or is it going to be?
I'm not really sure, to be honest, because I'm just going on the very little information that I have.
I like to see. None. I like to see they get to do something with Sheamus and Cesaro. Could do something with it. They have more people like Jack Gallagher. Other guys. It would be much better than. I don't know what's wrong with the Riders. It would be much better than the UK. championship.
Speaking of Jack Gallagher and 205 Live, what's your guys' take on 205 Live? We're now in the third week of 205 Live.
I think it's really great. It gives the guys, the Cruiserweights, a platform, and I think it's kind of like NXT. They're pretty much making a good product.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. And it's not like all spot monkey-ish that a lot of people were worrying about with the Cruiserweight, especially when it comes to Jack Gallagher. This guy is an absolute beast. And I got a good friend of mine, DLam1. Be sure you check him out on Twitch, twitch.tv/DLam1 for his EFED Code of Honor. It's a great show, guys, and I highly recommend you guys check him out on Twitch. DLam says, I'm a fan of UK wrestling, but I'm unsure with an upcoming division.
European division.
Yeah, and D-Lam makes a very excellent point about that. Why solely have it as a United Kingdom division, and why not just go back to a European division? That move just literally doesn't make any sense.
That's why we should be riders.
So, again, if you guys have any opinions about that, you call in to 337-366-8951. We want to hear what you guys have to say, or if you can't get in on the phone lines, chat room is open on youtube.com/WrestleGamer to get your thoughts in as well. So, before we get into Roadblock a little bit, what were your gentlemen, some of your highs and lows of Monday Night Raw this week?
Well, definitely a high was the New Day.
Being delivered.
That was kind of the theme of the show. They started the show and ended it, both winning triple threat matches.
Yeah, it's supposed to be champagne on Stephanie McMahon.
They spilled some champagne on Stephanie McMahon, which made them an enemy, which makes me think that Stephanie McMahon will probably screw them out of the title. Pretty
Sheamus and Cesaro might be the new champions.
We'll see. I don't know if Stephanie's really on their side either, though. Yeah. So another big storyline was the Foley and Zayn, Foley playing mind tricks on Zayn, I guess.
I'm glad he was able to keep his teeth in his mouth.
Yeah.
That's always a plus. Let's see. They had a lot of cruiserweight stuff, but really nothing else that stood out to me.
D-Lam has another comment. He says, Neville needs to be champion for 205 Live, but this UK deal is for WWE's agenda for upcoming an office and to raid the talent from great British wrestling indie companies.
Yeah.
If McMahon has done it in the 80s and the 90s, it wouldn't surprise me if he's doing it in the UK now.
Yeah, and they tour more in Europe, and more now, more shows than they had then, because the travel and.
Well, and they're ever more becoming more of an international product, and my main issue with the 205 Live is the time slot.
Like right after SmackDown.
It's right after SmackDown. The crowd's always dead for the show. They need to find a new time to film it, even if they maybe can film it before SmackDown or something.
Well, I got
just tape it and re-air it or something.
I have a minor objection calling it 205 Live, and here's why. Because this was so quick of a transition that it made me believe, as James Ellers is in the chat room, says, how's it going, guys? How you doing, James? On SmackDown Live, the commentary position is at ringside, as it always has been. But this week, when they transitioned to 205 Live, they were in the Monday Night Raw position.
Maybe they've,
Didn't notice.
Yeah. So, and one thing I want to say about Austin Aries as a commentator, he progressed really, really fast. I mean, he may have started on slow like a lot of color commentators, wrestlers turned commentators do, but when they start getting into it and they find their ebb and flow when it comes to commentary, they start to progress really fast. Prime example is Corey Graves, and now to throw into that name, Austin Aries. I mean, he really is doing very well on commentary.
If he ever gets hurt or he wants to retire, he looks like he has a job.
Yeah, but right now he's still recovering from that broken orbital bone. You remember that from the tag team tournament? I mean, his eyes was just really nasty when it came to that. Now, over to SmackDown quickly. First off, what in the hell were they doing with James Ellsworthless? That's his new name on the show. He's James Ellsworthless, the No Chin Magoo.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to ask you this, Mark, because I asked Nick this one. I'm going to ask you this question. Why are so many fans drawn to James Ellsworthless?
I think people like that because he's pretty much like them. You know, some people think, you know, if I, you know, look crazy or or have a stick, I could get, you know, a contract. But I heard like he's a promoter, but he was a wrestler, and he got, you know, I heard from like Vince McMahon liked this stuff and Jericho liked this stuff, and maybe they had to do it with him, or I don't know what's the deal. But I guess he's a common man kind of wrestler now in this day and age.
Now, on to the overall show of SmackDown Live, and it goes back to what you said before, Nick, about how SmackDown Live has just been doing it so much better than Monday Night Raw as of late, and this week definitely proved that with that Fatal 4-Way main event.
Well, and if you look at it, SmackDown had 3 very important matches that, you know, had stakes. They had a number 1 contender battle royal for the tag team titles. They had a women's title match, and they had a number 1 contender for the heavyweight title. So that's 3 important matches, and that's what people tune in to see, is title matches and number 1 contendership. So something that has stakes.
Yeah.
And James has a comment in response to my Ellsworth remark. He says, because Ellsworth is the extreme underdog, like most of us.
Yeah, he pretty much took the words out of my mouth. Thanks, James.
Now, Nick, when we look to the tag team battle royal, one of the things we noticed in that match was, again, the dissension between Heath Slater and Rhino. Do you think that this was the right time for WWE to split this team apart?
Sure, why not? They're getting crickets in the crowd. The act is pretty much done all it can, really.
Yeah,
so they're not going to beat the Wyatts anytime soon, so they might as well split them up, maybe build on Heath Slater's momentum.
So do you think that instead of working with each other, that WWE's going to have them work at each other?
Yeah, for the time being. You know, they'll probably have them maybe have a little scuffle at Royal Rumble against each other, and it'll maybe build into a WrestleMania match.
Yeah. James has another comment. He says he's living a dream that some of us have. Well, technically, yeah. Yeah, that's hard to disagree with that. Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss. Talk about 2 of the better female talents in WWE right now. Yeah. Definitely. First off, Alexa is like the perfect heel champion right now for SmackDown Live.
She's really impressed me, and I think she's impressed the brass that be, you know, in the WWE. I know Triple H is a big fan of Alexa Bliss, you know, and she was at WrestleMania 30 as one of the, you know, it was Natalya, Sasha Banks, and Alexa Bliss that came in for Triple H's entrance. But yeah, I mean, I think she's been doing a great job. That's why they got the strap on her.
Yeah, but where do they go now?
That sounds dirty, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not the gutter.
When it comes to Becky Lynch, what are some of the things that you guys think that need to be sought as an improvement over her? Because I think one of the things that a friend of mine, Andy, from the UK, he says that the Becky Lynch's accent is heavily forced and faked. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it'd be like that. I watched the little story time. Yeah, it kind of sounded real, like she wants to talk that way. But it gives her like, you know, something different with her personality, character. Same thing with Finn Balor. You know, I think Finn Balor maybe probably does the same thing, but it gives them, you know, the edge and their character. You know, they're Irish. You know, it's kind of like Sheamus.
Yeah, James has another comment for us. He says, a Rhino Heath Slater feud does not merit logically. In what way? I mean, if they're breaking up the tag team, you know, and they're starting to having issues with each other, then why not have them work like, it doesn't have to be a terribly long angle. It doesn't have to be an angle that lasts like 2 or 3 months or something like that. Just an angle up to the next, he says, James has comments on all of this to get to them when you can. I don't want to interrupt the flow. I understand that, James. You know, that's the way YouTube's comment system sucks. I'll give you that. But just have them work a feud until the next pay-per-view, and then you could just end the angle right there. It doesn't have to be terribly long.
Sure. I know. Let him like do something extreme rules and let Rhino just power drive him on the table. Like he used to do in ECW.
By the way, I know I don't have room to comment, but I think Rhino needs to start laying off the crackers and cheese.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Hey, he's getting older in age.
But getting back to the tag team battle royal, there was also a piece of breaking news about the injury to Zack Ryder. Have you heard about that? Yeah, it was reported on WWE.com that Zack Ryder's knee, his patella, popped out and then back in during the match. Now, they still haven't reported as to the severity of the injury because it all depends, because one type of rehab was like 2 to 3 weeks. And then they said if it's the worst kind, 6 to 9 months.
Dang.
Well,
And if it's the worst kind, I think that's just terribly bad timing for the Hype Bros, since now they're trying to push them towards the Wyatt family and run the tag team title.
Mojo will get a singles push.
yeah. Woo woo, maybe feud with the Miz, maybe.
He's hype enough.
Yeah.
But I mean, if anything, Miz has been stealing the show, and I think Miz, if anything, has put his name in the hat for a possible WWE championship, contender.
I will say this: when they started having him turn against AJ Styles in the opening segment on Miz TV,
It looked really good.
Yeah, it not only did it look really good. Kirsty Duck is in here, says Roman Reigns deserves to be champion. We're talking about SmackDown Live now, Kirsty. Roman Reigns is on Raw, but we're going to be talking about Roadblock in just a couple of minutes. So if you guys want to start getting your predictions ready for Roadblock here in the chat, you're more than welcome to. And by the way, if you also mention that you are a subscriber, you get automatic mod status in my chat. Just saying. But which reminds me that there's one other person that needs to get it. If I can do it here in this chat, and that's going to be D-Lam, because I know he is a subscriber. So if you mention in the chat you're a subscriber, you get a moderator status here in the chat. But
Christy said she loves.
An offer you can't refuse.
Yeah.
Kirsty,
How you doing?
She says she loves Ryder. Well, let's just hope, Kirsty, that the injury to Zack Ryder on SmackDown, that patella, isn't as bad as it could be. Because, like I said, there's a difference between rehabbing for 3 to 4 weeks and 6 to 9 months. So, but back to what we're talking about, Miz. Miz really has come onto his own. And I know there's a lot of people out there who don't want to say it, who don't want to admit to it, who don't want to cop to it because they just don't plain like the guy. But you still got to give the guy his props, Mark, wouldn't you think? And I know you're the biggest Miz hater of all on this show.
Miz. Yeah, I guess because I watched them on the Real World and the Real World Road Rules Challenge because I had an older sister, watch that kind of stuff. And but I think it surprised me that he's a good heel. That's what makes him great. People don't like him, and he just puts the knife in your, or makes you just riled up.
Y'all heard it here first. I'm telling y'all, they're building a Daniel Bryan Miz WrestleMania match. Daniel Bryan's gonna have a match.
Yes.
I hope.
Welcome to That Guy Tone in the chat room, and he says, I was there live for the Ryder injury. It didn't look bad until I saw his face. Well, if he made that kind of a face, then more than likely that's possibly going to spell bad news for The Miz. I'm not The Miz, Zack Ryder.
Ow, 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 I'm hurting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, D-Lam says Miz is the top thing on SmackDown right now. Well, that could be a little bit debatable.
AJ Styles, but you know why he's the Intercontinental Champion? Because he's the best heel besides AJ Styles, and he's pretty much making. He pretty much makes any babyface. I think he pretty much made Dolph Ziggler much better.
Which, speaking of Dolph, he had a pretty big night as well.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of well, when they did the Fatal 4-Way, I actually had no idea which way they were going to go.
Ambrose, Ziggler, Miz, or Luke Harper, which Luke Harper went out there and put on a dang good show.
Oh, he definitely did. Luke Harper has always been the shining star, in my personal opinion, of the Wyatt family gimmick. He's always been the most talented. Cutting promos might be a different story.
I like his promos. Yeah. They're wicked.
If he would like to do something with his voice, make it more like Dominic, like a Bray Wyatt, it'd be cool. But I think he's the best big man right now on the roster.
For SmackDown.
Yeah, for SmackDown.
Tone says, seeing Miz live for the first time in a long time, it's just crazy to see how much real-life hate he gets, and most of it is because of his wife. And there's a little bit of truth to that. I mean, Maurice is a hottie. I mean, she is a 10+.
Yeah. You know what he probably got?
Well, Miz actually was the first one eliminated in the match. Miz stays doing Daniel Bryan's moves, but he tried pinning everybody, and then eventually Dean Ambrose got him in a small package.
Like, how long is this angle, do you think, is going to be happening between Miz and Daniel Bryan? I mean, how long is WWE going to keep
Maybe
pushing this? WrestleMania?
And I'm thinking that Miz starts a feud now with Dean Ambrose, and they have an Intercontinental title match at Royal Rumble.
Yep. D Lamb in the chat room says, Styles' WWE run is too weak right now. Having Ziggler go in to lose, not feeling it, they could have gave Harper the shot.
They're giving Ziggler the shot on TV on SmackDown on December 27th.
Yeah,
it's a big episode of SmackDown. At Royal Rumble, you're going to see AJ Styles go against The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Well,
and you heard that here first.
Well, yeah, and that's the first time I've heard it. James Eller says Luke Harper is a natural. And, yeah, I can agree with that. Luke Harper, yeah, he's definitely got a knack for it. And, there's
a Brody Lee.
But, and I just thought about this, gentlemen. If you think about it, every champion on SmackDown Live right now is a heel. AJ Styles, Miz,
Alexa Bliss,
the Wyatts, and the Wyatts, all heels.
The new Wyatt.
They're getting ready for WrestleMania season where all the baby faces can win them back.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and technically on Monday Night Raw, you got Kevin Owens as a heel champion, Universal Champion. Reigns, even though he gets booed like hell, he's still a face. Yeah. The New Days are faces, and Sasha Banks is a face, and
Rich
Swann. So, and Dean Lamb says, I'm hoping the Undertaker is healed by then, which I assume he's talking about the Royal Rumble. Phone lines are open, guys and gals, if you want to call in and get your thoughts in on what we're talking about. And that's area code 337-366-8951. That is area code 337-366-8951. Hopefully the guy that called into Mr. Bob's show Inside the Mental Health an hour ago calls back. He got his timing a little bit
Well, I don't know, we're all over the place, but just to finish this match, Miz was eliminated first, then Luke Harper ended up, they teamed up on him, got him out, and then it came down to Ambrose and Ziggler, and my boy Ziggler got him a #1 contendership. He's here to show the world, which of course was due to Miz coming back out and costing Ambrose the #1 contendership.
Does that now mean that now they're setting up an angle now for the Intercontinental title between Ambrose and Miz?
Exactly.
So where does that leave Luke Harper then?
With the Wyatt,
and you know what? I did hear that.
It's Von Erich's rule.
Yeah, Von Erich's the Freebirds rule. Why don't we call it the New Day rule? Because the New Day is doing the exact same thing.
They rocks.
So Luke Harper's a tag team champion, even though he hasn't won them.
Tone says Luke Harper legitimately is my favorite big man on the roster at the moment, even more so than Braun Strowman. And Christy says
they built Strowman pretty good on Raw. That's about one of the only characters they've built over there.
Yep. So, and Christy says, I hate the Wyatt family.
Man.
You just don't understand it.
Yep. So.
Well, we even actually got an extra TV show of wrestling this week with the tribute to the troops,
which I sadly didn't watch.
You didn't watch the tribute to the troops?
No, I didn't.
Well, they had something special. They
Gabriel Iglesias.
No, yeah. They had.
He was on there.
They had the Shield kind of had a little thing in the club.
Oh, I saw that. The Shield,
the club, and the Shield. Yeah, and Roman Reigns, they kind of tried to make him out to be the star of the show, and the main event was Big Cass and Reigns against Rusev and Owens. Nothing really that special. Miz made an open challenge to Apollo Crews. Apollo won that, so I imagine he'll have an Intercontinental title shot coming up. I'm thinking in that 27th show, which is supposed to be a big SmackDown. #1 contender match for this was big. This had to do with Roadblock, actually, because it was Golden Truth, Shining Stars, Gallows Anderson, Cesaro Sheamus. Now #1 contenders.
Yep.
So that adds some stakes to it. Bayley versus Dana Brooke. Nobody cares.
I still want a hug from Bayley.
Wyatt family actually was in action against Ziggler and American Alpha. Wyatt family got the win. TJ Perkins, Rich Swann, and Jack Gallagher against Kendrick, Nice, and Gulak. Baby faces win. All the baby faces pretty much won just about.
Yeah, and a tribute to the Troops show, Tone says, I will say, I don't know how it came across on TV, but a tribute to the Troops, Roman isn't nearly as booed as people make him out to be. He got way more cheers.
It's soldiers, right.
Soldiers, and he's U.S. champion.
Yeah. Christy says, Roman Reigns is loved by some fans, Tone.
And plus it's taped.
Yeah.
And D-Lam says, a lot of women cheer for the big dog.
Yeah. But I think and Kevin Owens pretty much helped. Kevin Owens came out and pretty much bashed the U.S.
America, right? So Reigns was the American hero.
Yeah. And Kevin Owens is pretty much the best heel in the WWE roster, and they pretty much helped. They pretty much said, Kevin, go and help Roman try to get.
I heard Kevin Owens made some kid cry, and like the parents wrote a letter to WWE.
I wish I had the video footage so that way we could have played it on here. Because if I know we were going to talk about that, I would have downloaded the video and given it to our director Jacob Trent to play. Yeah. But yeah, it was like, I don't know why people are making a big deal about this. It's Kevin Owens being a heel. And what's the heel's number one job to do? Gain heat from the crowd. Get the crowd to hate you.
And he didn't say anything that inappropriate.
No, he didn't. I think he just kind of insulted the fact that he didn't want him to wear a Kevin Owens show t-shirt.
Because,
right.
And that made the kid cry.
Because we got a bunch of soft, pansy little ninny babies.
No, the mom said that the little boy had everybody's shirt, and he was wearing like a Roman Reigns shirt, and he wanted to go and get a Kevin Owens shirt. And then Kevin Owens was like, I don't want you to get my shirt and wear it, because I think I'll probably get, booed out the building or something.
So, I got to see. One angle that I think they could be working for another one, I wouldn't be surprised if they did an impromptu match for Roadblock, because now we're transitioning to Roadblock. We're going to be talking about that now. As D-Lam says, Kevin Owens is the best heel in the business. That could be debatable when some of the crowds actually cheer for you instead of boo the crap out of you like you're supposed to be. Then you're technically not doing your job as a heel. Again, remember, the heel, in wrestling terms, the crowd hates you, and you have to do everything you can to make sure the crowd keeps hating you. And I'm going to say about 75-80% of the time, we hear cheers for Kevin Owens. And despite his best efforts to get heat from them.
Same with Jericho.
Well,
But back in the Attitude Era, that was the best way to build your baby faces, was to turn them heel and then have them be such an awesome heel that they became a baby face.
Prime example, The Rock.
And Stone Cold. I mean, Stone Cold was meant to be a heel. He's a trash-talking redneck that, basically got over, and so they turned him baby face.
East Coast.
Christy Dunk says, I think Jericho was more hated. Not necessarily. I think Jericho's been
everybody loves the list.
Yeah.
Jericho's just a legend,
And Tone chimes in and says, I would say in general, Miz is the best heel on the WWE roster right now. Well, again, that is debatable, but on SmackDown Live, he's right up there. On SmackDown Live, he's right up there.
And I'll go ahead and give you another prediction. You're going to hear it first here. Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho at WrestleMania.
Do you think they can actually... my question is, will it be for the Universal Championship? Do they need the Universal title?
I think he loses it before then.
So, possibly.
Believe that?
Now, when it comes to this Sunday, and here's an early spoiler for the predictions, I don't think he's going to be losing it this Sunday.
No.
Because it wouldn't make any sense. But
and they're burying the U.S. title.
Exactly. Why couldn't they have him drop it to Jericho last week?
Yeah,
wouldn't that make more sense?
Give it to Big Cass, or give it to Rusev, give it to Sami Zayn, give it to anybody.
I think Jericho could have taken it and made it a much more important title, like John Cena was doing with it.
Yeah.
But the matchup that I was talking about that could possibly happen is a matchup between Jack Gallagher and Arya Daivari.
I had that on my possibilities as well, as well as a Bayley and Alicia Fox possibility.
Again, haven't we seen that enough?
Haven't we seen Sasha Banks and Charlotte enough? They've been wrestling since WrestleMania.
Well, you got a point there.
You got to do it.
But I got to say, first off, I have quickly become a huge Jack Gallagher fan.
Yeah, the mustache,
the guy's amazing.
The mustache and
First time I saw him in the Cruiserweight tournament, I was a fan. Yeah. The dude's got swagger.
That's why they need to bring him back to the European Championship, because they need to do something with them if they can't use them for cruiserweights.
James has a quick question for us. Finn Balor or Kevin Owens? Finn Balor.
Yeah, Finn Balor. I think...
But not by much. They're kind of like this, James, in my personal opinion. Again, our phone lines are still open. If you guys want to call in and talk to us, it's 337-366-8951. Again, that's area code 337-366-8951. Shout out to the Florida guy who called in mistakenly over an hour ago. Call in now. We're on the air now. Now's your time to talk to us. So, anyway, let's look at the kickoff match for Roadblock. And for those of you in the chat, start putting in your predictions for the kickoff match, Big Cass versus Rusev. I want to say probably the most interesting thing about this angle was the hotel beatdown of Enzo.
Yeah, I know you like that. You know, Lana and her. That's a real.
Who wouldn't want to see Lana in a red sexy robe like that?
Yeah.
I mean, raise your hand. Everybody on this show, raise your hand if you actually enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Sure.
You want to see Rusev?
James is asking about Balor and Owens about a possible match coming up. Well, if we see Balor return to the Royal Rumble as we got our old friend Corey is calling us. Corey, we haven't heard from you in quite some time. How you doing?
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. We don't get to talk to you, man.
Well, but before we get to that, first off, I want to ask you, Corey, how was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was lovely. How was y'all?
It was good.
Eat enough food in your belly?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're talking a lot of stuff right now, and one of the things we're talking about right now, Corey,
I heard
is...
y'all talking about Rollblock. I'm going to give my predictions.
Well, right now we're looking at Big Cass and Rusev. What are your thoughts about that?
That was funny.
Mean the hotel beatdown?
Yeah.
Hey, but you know what? You know what, Corey? I'll tell you this. I think it was worth it to see Lana in a red robe, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But that's not Paige, though. I see Paige in a black robe. Yeah.
I don't want to see Paige. I'm mad at her.
D. Lim in our chat room says, I got Rusev and loving Lana and Enzo in the story. The ultimate love triangle.
Well, speaking of Paige, since she came up, I heard Del Rio beat up somebody dressed as a Ninja Turtle in the ring.
When?
I don't know, like this past weekend in Mexico.
Sweet.
They do some crazy stuff over there.
Yeah. Somebody's dressed as a Ninja Turtle, and he, I guess, wrestled him and beat him up.
Yeah, man.
Y'all going when they go to Lafayette?
When are they coming to Lafayette?
January 8th. It's a house show.
January 8th.
Oh, it's a house show?
Yeah, live show.
Wait, hold on. Before we go any further, Tone has a problem with you, Nick. He says, I take issue with that Sasha versus Charlotte comment. They constantly top their matches every time. I never get bored of Charlotte versus Sasha, partly because Charlotte is the best on Raw right now.
I want to see her in a new
I could agree with that.
Say that again, Corey?
new feud. I want to see a new feud.
A new feud?
Well, this is going to be the last one on Sunday.
Yeah, because if we see Sasha Banks retain, which again, another spoiler, that's my pick.
Well, Charlotte's never lost a pay-per-view match still.
Well,
We get a picture there.
yeah, but the thing is, if they keep flip-flopping like this, if they put it on Sasha Banks on Monday Night Raw, then have her drop it to her at a pay-per-view, and then the rematch, she wins it back on Monday Night Raw, it's going to be a never-ending feud.
Well, they said this is
gotta-
the last one definitively.
Well, it has to be. I mean, it's turning into a Samoa Joe, Jeff Jarrett angle. Think back to TNA from a few years ago. I think you'll know what I'm talking about.
I guess the last few, that was good on TV.
Let me get a picture there, y'all.
All right, but before we go any further, again, picks for Big Cass versus Rusev. I know a lot of people aren't going to care, but I'm going to say Lana for the win.
Big Cass, how you doing? 7 foot tall, and you can't teach that.
Corey picks Lana too. We're both on the same page.
Yeah.
And you, Nick?
I'm going to go with Rusev.
Yeah,
And
Rusev
people in the
crust.
chat, start putting in your predictions right now while we get ready to talk about the next match.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't think a lot of people are going to care too much about this match if Enzo is not there.
Enzo was going to be there. He was on Tribute to the Troops.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
Well, that's a taped show, isn't it?
I didn't see him, though.
I think Tribute to the Troops is a
No,
taped
because
show.
they were talking about, they showed the clip of him getting beat up, so, and he was limping around.
Yeah, he was,
D. Lamb says Rusev, FTW, and we'll let you know the TW stands for the world. We'll let you think about what F stands for. Kirsty says Big Cass all the way.
You can't touch that.
James says Kaz, and that's CASS, not KAZ.
Rusev
That's Kazarian in TNA.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see maybe Enzo helping Cass to win, but
Yeah.
this one really has no meaning to it.
All right, now, what about the tag team championship match that we learned about from Tribute to the Troops, as Cesaro and Sheamus will take on the New Day? One of the things I talked about, well, I believe we talked about it last week, and I talked about it on my YouTube channel Monday, was since the New Day has, by the way, got a comment from D-Lam, nice UFC doll on the table.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
You mean this?
I should put like a little black eye and bust a lip, you know.
Saying, I thought I could fight, then I got my butt whooped.
When that guy going on Monday Night Raw?
Emelina.
Emelina, I really don't know what's going on with that one.
Doing that, Emelina?
Emelina, yeah.
The other one.
Nia Jax.
Ronda Rousey, I don't know. I mean, there's nothing really been substantiated about that. Nothing's been confirmed about whether or not she's positively training to go into the ring. And right now, it's just a lot of hopeful speculation. As D-Lam says, see him quit. And for the last pig, Tone says Rusev. He's got Rusev all the way, Machka, and crushing Cass.
Crush.
Yeah, they need to build Rusev back up.
Asking Mashka means crush in Bulgarian.
Yeah, but Cesaro, one of the things, back to what I was saying about what I said on Monday night, since they had New Day break Demolition's record, what are the chances that now, coming this Sunday at Roadblock, that they have them drop the titles to Cesaro and Sheamus since they did what WWE sought out to do and break Demolition's record?
Maybe so. And Cesaro and Sheamus make a really awesome tag team, and I think they do a really good job of building up the division. You know, and kind of give New Day a little, something like a feud. You know, to try to get the belts back. Maybe they get them back, or they drop them back to Sheamus and Cesaro. Do like a little feud. That'd be.
They make sure you ain't booted.
So I assume your pick is New Day, Car?
I think I'm going to have to go with Bootios.
Videos.
For some reason, I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to say Cesaro and Sheamus, because the reason why, and Tone says, I got New Day winning until the Authors of Pain get called up. That's going to be something to
Authors of Pain's going to be like the new Ascension.
Hold up. That's some big boys here.
Yeah, they are. D-Lam says Revival debuts and kicks everyone's butt, no contest. Well, that wouldn't surprise me, at the least, to see the Revival. Revival's also another great tag team, but
They're like the new Brain Busters.
But the reason why I'm saying Cesaro and Sheamus is WWE, like I've said before, have sought out what they've been wanting to do for the longest time, breaking Demolition's tag team title record, and I believe they're still in court with Demolition, WWE, over a lawsuit of some sort. I'm not sure. I think it might have something to do with the tag team title record being broken. But since they did it and they accomplished that, then what's the point of keeping the titles on them any further than they need to? You know, why not drop it to a new team and have them have a run at the titles? They don't have to break the record, but let them have a run as
I
champions.
agree with you, Billy.
You kind of get what I'm saying?
I agree with you.
All right, and Kirsty Duck in the chat room says, New Day will smash it, love the New Day. Nick, what about you? Do you agree with that, or do you have a different opinion?
Yeah, I can see that, especially because of the fact that New Day is now made enemies with Stephanie McMahon. So,
So you think that she's going to, her character will go out of her way to...
yeah, she'll stack the cards against them somehow. Like maybe have like Xavier Woods banned from the ring or something.
Yeah.
All right, and Cora, before we let you go, we're going to let you go ahead and get in your picks for the rest of the card. First off, Sami Zayn and Braun Strowman. Who you got? Braun Strowman? I think something. Well, we'll discuss that in just a couple of minutes. What about the Cruiserweight Championship? Rich Swann, T.J. Perkins, and the Brian Kendrick.
Yeah.
At one point, I want Rich Swann to win it.
Well, he's the champion. He's still the champion right now.
I'm going to give you another point. At one point, I want T.J. Perkins to win it, but I want whatchamacallit to keep the belt.
Rich Swann?
Yeah.
Okay. What about Seth Rollins and Chris Jericho? What's your pick on that one?
I'm have to go with Seth Rollins.
All right, what about the Universal Championship match, Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns?
Since Roman Reigns got the what about Roman Reigns got?
U.S.
U.S.
U.S. title.
Yes.
I think I can see him holding it. He gonna have to earn it though.
So you think he's going to have 2 belts now?
He gonna have to earn it.
All right, what about the Raw Women's Championship match, the 30-minute WWE? To me, like when I said it last year on my YouTube channel for the NXT, it didn't sound right, and it still doesn't sound right now. Iron Man match. What's the problem with calling it Iron Woman match? But maybe we'll talk.
It'll be sexist, huh?
All right, Sasha
Probably got a
Banks
trademark on it.
and Sasha Banks and Charlotte Flair.
Baby.
I want to predict that one. In a way, I got Sasha Banks, but I'm gonna go with Charlotte Flair.
Because of her undefeated record on pay-per-views?
Yeah.
But if anything, I think that might be best match of the night. That's got the potential of doing it right there.
Unless somebody help Charlotte keep it.
Well, listen.
In a way, I think they're gonna cheat.
Well, Charlotte's a heel. It wouldn't surprise me. But anyway, Corey, it was great to hear from you again. Don't forget, we'll be trivia. I didn't know you were going to be calling in this week, man. I ain't got no trivia ready.
All right, I got trivia for you. Okay. Bray Wyatt's from a family of wrestlers, and Randy Orton's family of wrestlers. Can you name who's Randy Orton related to that wrestled? And can you name who Bray Wyatt's related to that wrestles? The whole family.
Think about Randy Orton's. The answer is in his name.
Bob Orton.
That's right. Cowboy Bob Orton. Ace Cowboy Bob Orton.
Who else?
The man who had a cast on his arm for 2 years in the World Wrestling Federation.
Bob Orton.
Yeah.
Yep.
And who was his uncle? He was a enhancement talent back in the 80s.
Wait, run that by me again?
Who was Bray Wyatt related to? He was a very famous tax man in the World Wrestling Federation, and his tag team partner was Ted DiBiase. They were known as Money Inc.
Money Incorporated.
Yeah, who was Ted DiBiase's tag team partner? And he used to pick on him by calling him Irwin.
Yep.
Irwin. There wasn't Virgil.
No, it wasn't Virgil.
What's
Irwin R.
No.
Irwin R. Shyster, IRS. His name is Mike Rotundo.
Yep. I can pretty much name all of them.
Yeah, D. Lamb says Bo Dallas is related. Yeah, they're brothers. Bro Dallas and Bray Wyatt are brothers.
You don't think they look alike?
I didn't know that.
I'm sorry?
I didn't know that.
Yep. Well, anyway, Corey, it was great to hear from you again, but we got another caller calling in.
Yep.
Next week.
All right, next week, man.
All right, y'all be good.
All right, later. And we have a new caller from the 865 area code. What's your name and where are you from?
My name is James. I'm from Oliver Springs, Tennessee.
How you doing, James? It's great to hear from you. We're talking a lot about Roadblock, and you've been following the show. We're now up to, we just discussed the tag team championship match and the situation and why I think the New Day will be losing the championship. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, as far as the New Day goes with their recent trends, they've done broke the record for the longest reigning tag team champions. I think it's beginning to kind of wear just a little bit, so it may be time, and I seem to agree, they may be backing off the titles a little bit and possibly taking them to Cesaro and Sheamus being two of the real popular characters at the moment.
Now we have Sami Zayn and Braun Strowman. WWE's been pushing this angle ever since Strowman absolutely destroyed Sami Zayn a couple of weeks ago on Monday Night Raw. And then, of course, we had that grotesquely bad promo when Mick Foley lost his teeth in the middle of the ring. And James, I don't know if you saw the GIF, but there's a GIF in slow motion of the teeth falling out of Mick Foley's mouth and him grabbing it and tossing it on the ground.
I have not seen this. I heard about it this afternoon and been meaning to check it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but now they've actually set up this matchup between the two, and I will tell you this, Nick. I'll be adamantly surprised if Zayn goes over in this match.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a 10-minute draw.
A 10-minute draw? Well, it's only a 10-minute match?
A 10-minute time limit.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah.
I think Sami Zayn makes it 10 minutes.
Yeah, James, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, the 10-minute stipulation was definitely something that kind of threw me off a little bit about that. It's sort of a kind of takes it more to a challenge type setup.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Braun saying, well, no one can last 2 minutes with me. Then Zayn's coming around saying, Mick Foley says, okay, you say 2, I say 10. Can you do it? Zayn's known for, his big matches, but unfortunately, he's also known for not being able to pull out, the high points.
Yeah, Ton in the chat room says, I got Braun beating Sami within an inch of his life and then Sami getting a roll-up pin. That's one possible scenario, and D-Lam says Zayn for the upset. But the way I look at it, now that the 10-minute time limit stipulation has been brought to my attention, and the way they've been working the angle, and think about what Braun Strowman in the promo he cut, talking about nobody can last 2 minutes, and then Mick Foley said, well, we're going to make it 10. I think they're going to push that to a 10-minute draw. And it works for the both of them in that matter. It makes both of them look good regardless. Braun Strowman won't look any worse for wear, in my personal opinion, because probably for the 10 minutes he'll probably just beat the ever-living crap out of Sami Zayn. But go ahead, James.
I personally believe I don't think there's any way that Strowman could look bad at this point.
Well, yeah.
He's got that. He basically has that factor, being a big guy, very dominating as a person, has that personality, kind of reminds you of some old school big guys, and he sort of has that mentality. I agree with the possibility of the draw, because I don't know if they're just going to put one of them over the other one.
Yeah, and the way it works for Sami Zayn is because as of late they've been having him like the ultimate underdog from the underground. It plays perfectly into his gimmick. Have him last, nobody's got him lasting less than 2 minutes into the match. As D-Lam says, Strowman can't wrestle for 10 minutes. It's going to be interesting to see, but I still think, Mark, that it's going to go to a 10-minute time limit draw, and it will work for the both of them.
Yeah, because they don't both lose or win. It's everybody can go happy. Go home happy.
All right, so I think we're in a general consensus of a time limit draw. Yep. Cruiserweight Championship on the line. Rich Swann defending against T.J. Perkins and D. Brian Kendrick. First off, I got to say the matchup Swann and Perkins had on 205 Live last night Tuesday night, was absolutely wonderful. It was a great match between those two. And with this one, honestly, James, it's a flip of a coin to see which way they're going to go. I mean, all three men at one point have been Cruiserweight champion. Rich Swann's the current champion. Perkins was the first one. Kendrick was the second one. But I think more than likely, if they're pushing Rich Swann as of late, and they might just push him over on Perkins and Kendrick just so Kendrick and Perkins can have a feud.
That it does sound valid. I very much believe in the 205 Live and 205 division right now. It was one of the hottest products in the summer. Now that it's into where it's at now, it's definitely making it a prominent part of the wrestling scene, which is great. But as far as that goes, I think Kendrick may have had his high point as far as where he is. But going forward, I think that you're going to see T.J. Perkins, Rich Swann, guys like Nice and maybe even Zach Gallagher get into that cruiserweight picture because they're going to move it. They're going to have to move it around, and come WrestleMania, it'll just be something spectacular.
Nick, what are your thoughts?
Yep.
I agree.
And what you think about the UK title? I think they should bring back the European title instead. What you think about that, James? You think it's really...
Bring back a UK title or a European title?
It's the introduction of the, from what I've been told, the WWE United Kingdom Championship.
I think the European title would be better to bring back.
Well, this would be my question in regards to that. You're going to make a UK championship. Is it going to be defended only in the UK? And if it is that not like only 2 to 3 times a year?
Yeah,
I really don't know. I don't have the answer to that. Tone says I got Rich Swann retaining. Dean Lamb says everyone will be pissed when Strowman wins the Rumble to face Reigns at Mania. Get ready to cry, everyone, like we did for Brian. Oh, D Lamb's on a tear tonight in the chat room. I'll tell you what. So essentially, my pick is Rich Swann to retain. Nick.
Let's say Swann.
Yeah.
Mark.
Swann.
And James, you had said Swann as well, correct?
Which
I'm going to go with Swann unanimously.
could they call him the Black Swan since his name is Swan?
No, that's just racist. Sounds racist.
I mean,
Right now, they call him the outlandish Rich Swann.
no, he's not the Black Swan.
Yeah.
It'll border on the racist thing, and it'll also go a little bit towards Broadway. And I don't know if they want to go that way with him.
All right, we're gonna try
Just a quick joke for somebody out there.
Yeah, we're gonna kick it up a little bit of a notch since we have about 5 minutes left in the show.
Just remember, Nick,
Seth,
you're on the list.
I'm on the list.
the bald list.
Bald Jericho says you're on the
Swann
list.
and Neville need the next shot. Swann has the championship right now, D-Lam. Seth Rollins and Chris Jericho, and this has been a feud we've seen for the longest time. Now, what will happen in this match, I really don't know. Because technically, this is almost like two faces going against each other, because Chris Jericho's over as hell with the list. But as far as a pick goes for this one, if they're really trying to push Seth Rollins towards Triple H, which will happen at WrestleMania without a doubt, then they got to put Rollins over on Jericho to make him look stronger, wouldn't you think?
I would think so. It makes sense, unless for some reason Triple H comes out there and answers Seth Rollins' challenge.
Tone says, from what I understand,
I will agree with that statement.
Tone says, from what I understand, the intent is to put a weekly show in the UK to go along with the tournament and the title. And he also says that Seth Rollins is going to win. Mark, what about you?
I think Seth Rollins, something's going to happen. Like, I think Kevin Owens might jeopardize his match, and Chris Jericho might do something in Kevin Owens' match.
Yeah, and again, at the same time, intensifying the feud.
Yeah.
Intensifying the feud between Jericho and Owens. And again, I don't think that the matchup's going to happen at WrestleMania per se. I think it possibly will happen at the Royal Rumble.
You just
D-Lam says Jericho wins, baby. The Raw Women's Championship, Sasha Banks and Charlotte Flair. This is potentially right here, gentlemen, one of the matches that could steal the show of the entire pay-per-view.
Yeah. Why is that an Iron Woman match?
The Iron Woman.
Just one moment.
Go ahead.
I just want you to think of one thing going from here forward, from here to WrestleMania. The rebuilding, as much as I just hate to say it, of the Authority.
Could happen. It could happen. It definitely could.
Owens and Jericho, the way they're buttoned up with Stephanie, and Rollins targets Triple H, he's going to get his guys to try to protect him, and I think he's going to use Kevin Owens and Jericho as the sort of like the bullies of the group, and you're going to see a series of matches between Owens, Jericho, Rollins, back and forth until it just culminates with WrestleMania being a big payout.
And I can even see Charlotte being a part of the Authority.
Yeah, it really wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. But as far as the Raw Women's Championship, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say Sasha Banks hands Charlotte her first pay-per-view loss. So,
Agreed.
I'd like to think so, but either way, I think you're going to get Sasha Banks heading toward a feud with Nia Jax after this, and Charlotte heading toward a feud with Bayley.
Yeah, and Mark, what about you?
I think Sasha's going to retain, and
so we kind of have a little bit of a split decision here when it comes to that. With 2 minutes left in the show, we have the Universal Batista return could be in
2
the
minutes
cards.
is all
for
I
Raw.
need, ladies.
We'll save that for a later discussion. Universal Championship, Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. Tone says, I got the Queen from the Queen City, Charlotte Flair, taking the belt and leading into the feud with Bayley. More than likely that'll happen. D-Lam picks Banks to win. When it comes to Universal Championship, it can't be any surprise that they keep the title on Owens because Roman Reigns doesn't need the Universal Championship. He's the U.S. Championship. Why put the Universal Championship on Roman Reigns when he already has the U.S. title? It makes no sense.
So, Belser, you just made the list.
So officially my pick is Kevin Owens to retain. Nick?
Kevin Owens to retain.
Kevin Owens retain.
James?
I'm going to go with Kevin Owens to retain, just to set up, my little theory.
So with that being said, guys and gals, that's going to be it for this week Sports Entertainment Tonight. I'd like to thank everybody who joined us in the chat room this week. That is Tone, D-Lam. Be sure to go to twitch.tv/DLAM1. Check out the Code of Honor eFed. I highly recommend you guys check that out. As D-Lam says, I want Owens, but we're all doomed for WWE to copy UFC. What the hell does that mean?
Suck it!
Yeah.
I want to thank Christy Duck. I want to thank Tone. I want to thank Corey for calling in and James for calling in.
Batman.
And as Tone says, I got Roman winning to see the internet explode. And that will happen. That will happen if that happens.
All right, and we want to say we might have a show next week, but happy holidays, happy Merry Christmas, happy Kwanzaa, and happy Hanukkah.
So, with that being said, he's Nick Nede Fukwe. He's Mark the Smart Tron. That's all of our stuff falling down. And I'm your friendly neighborhood Russell Gamer, WB Billy Boudreaux, and we'll see you next time right here on Sports Entertainment Tonight. Bye, guys.
See ya.
And we're James. Thank you very much.